G'day folks, Clegger here for XP Deus version 4. Let's just have a quick look at the finds that came out in the first hunt with version 4 using the hot program today, and I did punch it onto the reactivity 2.5. Ended up going back to 3 after not too long, because we do like to hunt a trashy site for some reason. So just come over to the van real quickly and have a look at some of them. First, the goodies. This is the stuff I suppose in the keeper pile. So what got me today was little things like these little buttons and or little buckle things, you know, the press stud bits. This thing here that I have no idea what it is, that's a 20-cent coin to give you a size comparison on some of these things. The Deus was hitting these at a good little depth, and what I liked too was that the XY screen I was using on these single metal items, there's the penny, or half penny I should say, and a little St. Christopher type medal. With these uniform shaped single metal items, the XY screen really comes into its own, and it gives you a very nice straight line. You dig it every day, the tone's good, nice straight line. On something like this little piece of work here, single metal but odd shape, so you do get a very bottom left to top right, that way line, but it does start to wobble around a bit and you get a bit iffy. And so I'd suggest that when the target's wobbling, the line's wobbling, you're starting to get non-ferrous objects that aren't of a regular shape, and that can help if you're on a coin shoot. Don't dig the wobbles, I suppose, is the hint there. But we'll just have a look at some of the trash finds, because they're probably just as interesting with version 4. Little bit of an old Lesney car there. Oh, another little piece of the brass work. Got a nice big chunk of brass here and hit him at pretty good depth too. Pretty serious depth. Actually, that was a good 8-10 inches down. Really took some getting out. But again, just the XY screen wouldn't allow me to leave it alone. It was a nice line, a single metal, as you can see. This is an interesting one because I brought this home because it's a non-ferrous casing with a ferrous bolt through the middle. So what was happening here was I was getting a good tone, and I had my discrimination on, I think it was -3. So I was still getting the iron grunt, but this non-ferrous tone was coming through very well. And what was happening on the roll off, and it must have been when I was rolling this way, was I got a very nice XY line, or a bit of a wobbly line to be honest, and then it just went Burko and grunted everywhere. And I come at it from different angles and it cleaned itself up, and in the end I just had to dig it to see what it was, and there it is, a big chunk of ferrous shoved up a big chunk of non-ferrous. These little things here were the bane of the day. Everyone knows about these. They were absolutely everywhere. The nice thing is that they rung up pretty much every one exactly the same. So after about 3 or 4 of them, I got to know that every time I was hitting that sort of tone, I was going to dig a lead head nail. Now, the problem with leaving lead head nails is that they sit nicely in the silver coin range. So with a clean XY line, a nice signal, you're going to dig them every day of the week. You just can't avoid them. Over to these ones, which are a little bit more interesting as well. Sorry, the sun's starting to peek through the mango tree behind me. Got 2 nice big chunks of iron here. Now what these did was give me a high tone when I first went over them, and then after a little bit of investigation, these 2 came up obvious iron, and I dug them out really just to confirm my suspicions, and at both times I was correct. So that's what I'm happy about, is that I was correct on what I thought it was. This little bugger here was a completely different story. It rang up, I thought I was going to dig a penny out, if I'm honest. I really did. There was a tiny little grunt just off to the edge, and what I was actually thinking was a penny with a nail in the hole, or another piece of iron. Unfortunately, it was a donut, and I've dug a few donuts with XP, and I've got to say that if I was paying attention and hearing that roll-off grunt, I probably should have left this behind. But like I said, I was new to this version 4, and I really wanted just to double check. I was sus but I think I was reasonably sure I was going to get a good target. I don't think this though is solid iron. It's absolutely got no rust on it. So that could have been it as well, but it did give me the grunt on the roll off. So there's the rundown. Another nice little piece of door work or something like that. Gave me a nice tone, and out she came. Very shallow though, it was almost an overload. So there's a little rundown of all the trash that we dug, and another quick look at the goodies. And as I said, when you run over something like these, single metal, uniform shape, you're not going to miss them. It's very, very obvious on the XY screen. Alright guys, cheers, thanks for watching, see you in the next video.